it down, speak louder. That was my name. Slack. Eagerly leaving the scene to go and chase his dream. On a mission, wishing ever since he was only 15. With sincerity, I'll never give in to the popularity. The clarity's a rarity when you're compared to me. Now where were we? And I don't mean to be cocky, but I'm never doing this sloppy. And all that hating, it's not me. So I'm original, no copy. Can't copy my swag. I'm spitting liquid, twisting like my name was Mickey Fast. And I'm the 11th freshman on the cover, double XL. Didn't get any recognition cause I forgot how to spell. Fixed it with the quick systems, now I gotta spit quick as hell. Now I'm doing it well. Ain't hard, but I bet you can tell. And I'm locking my method, that's it.
All right. Joining me today is a player who has overcome obstacles that most players could never imagine facing. If you like stories of determination and talent, meeting the correct coaching, this is the story for you. Today I invite in Sam Duran, a player that managed to go straight from high school to the CJFL without attending any colleges. He chose this path due to an auditory processing disability that made school very, very difficult for him. But due to his efforts and his father's as well, he was able to find this opportunity in the CJFL. Sam, thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to have you here with me. How are you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
I definitely cannot complain. So can you go into a short background into who you are, how you found this opportunity, and then we'll get into more detail as we go along?
All right. So it all started when I was playing little ball back in Wall Township in New Jersey. And then, got too big for that, and I couldn't play for a couple of years. And then I got back to playing football in high school, and then never stopped since. So,
absolutely. So you said, or I caught somewhere that you entered school at high school at 6'4", 275 or something like that.
Yes, that is correct.
That's crazy, man. You must have towered amongst the other kids in school.
Yeah, I did. It was very weird, but I got used to it, I guess.
I can imagine. So what age did you really begin playing organized football?
Meaning high school level, or meaning after high school?
Just in general, when you very, very first began playing football at a young age, were you playing in padded football or?
Yeah, I started playing padded football, but I did a couple flag football in the beginning because of age and whatnot. And
Gotcha.
Then I played for a couple years and then got too big for the weight limit for my age, and then I started playing basketball, and then I didn't go back to football till high school level. So,
Gotcha. What inspired you to play football?
The people around me and the football background in our family. I was always around football players, whether it be ex-Giants players, ex-Jets players, and my father played football for a while as well. So it was always football around us, and I've watched football from a young age as well.
Gotcha. Speaking of which, you're a huge Giants fan. How did that all come about?
I was a Giants fan in a whole family of Jets fans. Everyone's a Jets fan in my family except for me and my aunt and my grandfather that passed away when I was little. So it was because of him and my aunt that I became a Giants fan, and I've been a Giants fan ever since then.
Interesting. I mean, I can't speak for New Yorkers, but the Giants have had a lot more success as of recently than the Jets have. That's for sure.
Yes, that is good, and I hope to see some new improvements in the NFL draft coming up.
No doubt. So when were you actually diagnosed with your condition?
I was diagnosed at a young age. I wasn't really sure what that was when I was younger, but as I grew up, I learned what was the actual problem, and what I could use that to my advantage, and kind of help my situation with learning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once you know what the issue is, you know how to attack it. Makes
Yeah,
perfect
exactly.
sense. So have you always played primarily on the defensive line, or was there a time when you were more of an offensive player?
I was an offensive tackle when I was very young, and then I into my high school. I was they wanted me in the offensive line, and for some reason it just did not click because I was thrown in halfway through their season. So being an offensive tackle halfway through a season just did not work for me because I had to learn everything from scratch. So they put me on the defensive line, and that's where I stuck. And then come end of sophomore year, they saw my speed, and that after every practice, I would catch footballs with the quarterback, and they were like, you know what, let's try you at tight end next year, junior years, and let's see what you can do. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. How do you like playing tight end?
it was a lot of fun, and it was fun to catch a couple balls and a couple passes, and I never really did it in a future game because I was on everything. I was on kick return, kick off, punt return, punt. So there was no room for me to be a tight end because we had like three on the roster. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, obviously, the way you impact the game as a defensive player, you don't really want to take that away from your game. That's for
yeah,
sure.
because they didn't want to tire me out because
Absolutely.
they wanted me for the defense. So and then that's where I stuck.
Absolutely. Which players did you look up to as a young kid when you were learning how to play football?
I looked up to Tyrod Taylor and his game as a Giants fan. He was an animal on the field, and I aspired to be just like him on the field. Take every rep and make the game their own.
Gotcha. Makes perfect sense. Um, if you hadn't decided to play football, would you be playing basketball right now?
I would actually be playing golf, as a matter of fact. Yeah,
Really?
it's surprising. I was a golf player, and it was what was it? My freshman year, they told me that I can play golf because of football season
Ah,
because they're the same. It went football and golf, and then it went basketball and wrestling, I believe. So I can only play football and basketball if I wanted to.
gotcha. That makes sense. I mean, they don't want you having a conflict there. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, they did not want me to go to golf.
Have
So,
you always been one of the bigger, more athletic kids in your grade throughout school?
um, yeah, for the most part, yeah. I haven't really met someone that was taller than me, or as athletic, because I think of myself as a very fast person, for my size. So,
I
uh,
can attest to that.
yeah.
After watching highlights, that's for sure. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and play one of your highlights real quick, show off a little bit of that speed. I apologize for the commercial. I didn't get a chance to edit these. Um, it should be like right off your huddle page, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
But there's one play in particular here. I think this is the one right here where
Oh
it's
yeah,
you,
15. Damn.
boom, right there. You split the block and just like get in the backfield immediately. And I was like, okay, I could see why he's playing defensive end despite the relatively bigger size. I mean, I definitely think you could still do that at the CJFL level as well.
Yeah, exactly. They put me wherever on the defensive line, whether we played primarily 4-3, um, and it was just fun to play inside because I remember in one game I was a defensive end, primarily my sophomore year into my junior year, and one of my coaches he said, you know what, let's put you in the inside. I was a because we ran a 3 that game, so they put me right in the middle with the center, and I remember just bulldozing them.
That's awesome.
It was very fun, and that's where I stuck.
So just to throw that out there, you can play basically every position on the defensive line. I mean,
Exactly.
defensive end, defensive tackle, nose tackle, 3-4, 4-3.
Exactly. I've played it all.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, not a lot of kids can say that coming out of the high school level, I imagine. I read in another interview that you idolize Eli Manning. How did that all come about?
Primarily for a Giants fan coming up, and also because he's a great person, not only on the field but off the field as well, helping with charities and being the Man of the Year award as well. So it's just amazing to see someone being a leader and also a leader off the field as well.
Absolutely. I can definitely attest to that. I'm born and raised in Denver, Colorado, so I got to watch the twilight years of Peyton Manning, and
Yeah.
he's much the same. Very, very cool guy to follow, always easy dude to root for. Same with Eli Manning. They just seem like good individuals.
Yes.
Is Eli the reason you were a Giants fan? But I guess you kind of already answered that
Yeah.
it was more family ties.
Yeah, it was more family ties than just Eli. So
Gotcha. So vice versa. You're an Eli fan because of your Giants ties?
yes.
Gotcha. So when you entered high school, we kind of briefly touched on this a minute ago. What was your height and weight at the time? And had you been training for football prior to going to high school? Or was it something that you just walked into high school and you're like, hey, I'll play football again since I can now?
Yeah, it was 6'4", 275 or 280. I depends on when that was, and yeah, I just walked in. I went to my gym class. I think it was I switched some classes around, and then I got a different gym teacher, and I went to gym, and he saw me. He said, "Football. There's a practice tonight. You want to come?" And I was like, it's a new school. I just came all the way from Mississippi. It's a new thing. I don't think that's in my cards right now." And he kept asking for about like 2-3 weeks straight. Texted my parents, everything. So yeah, and then he finally got to me, and I said, "Yeah, sure." And then halfway through the season, I started, and I played for him, and then I played ever since. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. What was that coach's name, if you don't mind me asking?
Gordy West.
Nice. Nice. So thank you, Gordy West, from me to you. Have you run any NFL combine drills on your own and or with trainers to give reference to teams? If so, what did you manage in these drills?
Yeah, I played. Nope, sorry. I trained for that for a while because I went to Elite Game Speed in Scranton to uh, kind of train for that combine that was in Scranton, I believe. I went there and I did the 40 cone drills and multiple different things as well.
Gotcha. What did you run in the 40?
I don't remember because I think they forgot to post my stuff because I actually looked it up not too long ago and it just says just NA or something like that. I was like, oh man, because I felt good because afterwards they were all just staring like
I could see.
after I completed it. So I felt good about that one, which sucks. But I've been training for the 40 because there's a combine kind of coming up for the CJFL, so I'll be going there May 7th for that. So it'll be
Nice.
fun to see my 40 time there.
Absolutely. You'll have to let me know so I can post it up and share it around for people.
Absolutely.
So you were listed at 6'5", 275 pounds in high school. Having played primarily on the defensive line, do you prefer to play inside at defensive tackle or outside at defensive end? And do you prefer 4-3 or 3-4?
I prefer a 4-3 because of it's less chance of getting double teamed because a lot of people, when they saw a big guy on the defensive line, they said double team every time. And there was a lot of games that I was double teamed several times. So I prefer a 4-3 because of that reason. And also, that's a really trick question because I love both positions. But I think because of my speed and athleticism, I gotta go defensive end because I can get past the tackles a lot easier.
Gotcha. Makes perfect sense. You're more out there on an island. You're not
Yeah.
less likely to get a double teamed. Makes sense. Um, if you, I guess, you kind of just answered my question, but if you had to choose a defensive scheme for yourself as a player, would it be a
Yeah.
4-3?
Yeah. 4-3.
Gotcha. Looking back at your career in high school, is there a specific game or play individually that stands out to you?
I believe West Scranton was the game that was probably my best game that I've ever played. It was multiple sacks and also multiple tackles for loss. It was a very fun game, and they were not happy that I was on the field that day.
Really?
Yeah, it was very it was a very defensive forward game. Um,
Gotcha.
we destroyed them on that one.
Well, let's hope I came prepared and I have the right game, but I think this might be the one you're talking about. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a little bit longer clip. Got quite a bit of highlights on it actually of you kind of wrecking the opposing offensive line here, getting the running back in the backfield. I think he sacked the quarterback a couple times.
Yep, did.
Uh,
It was awesome.
yeah, definitely. It was fun to watch for sure. You got some awesome highlights out there. Like I said, I mean, it's interesting to see. Actually, I was going to point this out, but one of the main things that I wanted to talk to you about is how do you go about marketing yourself as a player? I mean, you're everywhere, and that's hard to find from a guy who's coming straight out of high school.
Um, it was just I never really thought of it when I was in high school, but when I started making plays and I started, getting people to talk about me, they just posted on Instagram. They posted on they posted on Huddle as well because that's where all of the plays are, and it just kind of started. My father did some of that too on different pages, and then scouts started getting that as well. So
Interesting. Interesting. I found it very interesting. Actually, as you know, that's part of the reason why I reached out to you to learn more about the way you were approaching your journey to the professional level. Because one of the things I found was that you were actually crowdsourcing at one point on Make a Champ, right?
yes, I was.
So I wanted to throw that out there. I have the link in the description below. If you want to support Sam's journey to professional football, please go check out Make a Champ. He's got a crowdsourcing that basically helps him with travel costs and helps him get where he needs to go in terms of traveling with the team and traveling to the team anyway, because you're from the US, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the CJFL is actually in Canada. For those that don't know, it's kind of a junior league that does not require a school. It's still developmental. A lot of these guys go to the CFL, so I would guess that's the ultimate goal here.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, well, hey, it's a good basis to start on, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's
Uh,
nice to get your name out there with this and meet new people.
Absolutely, absolutely. We see guys from the CJFL in the draft every year. So in your free time, you run a YouTube channel called Blue to Green,
Yes, that is correct.
centering around gaming. When did you decide to start this, and what games do you focus on when you play?
I started the channel back in 2014, and I didn't really start uploading till late 2015. And I primarily do COD, different first-person shooter games. So
Gotcha. So one of the most popular games to stream when it comes to stuff like that.
yeah,
How have you managed to grow your audience on this level to such an extreme level when I mean, they're just watching you play a game. That's crazy.
um, it was it was good that I started when it was popular. It was on a decline for a little bit, and then it got back up because of COVID and people wanting to watch something.
Gotcha.
And yeah, just doing stuff that's popular and having catchy thumbnails and catchy titles, and it gets you in the algorithm really quick, and YouTube pushes it. So
There you go. I was gonna say you have like over 5,000 subscribers, right?
Yes.
That's pretty impressive for, I mean, a primarily gaming channel.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you ever post any of your own highlights up on there or anything like that?
I have a separate, I believe, for like football, because I keep football and also that separate. So it's like, it's like I primarily do gaming here, and then I primarily do football here.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, the two don't really tie together when you consider that you're
Exactly.
playing first person shooters.
Yeah, they're probably, if I posted something, they'd be like, "Why is this on here?" So
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. So, off camera, we spoke about how a coaching change dramatically affected your career. From what you said, your first coach was probably not the best teacher for you as an individual, while your second head coach in high school found a better way to help you learn the playbook. Talk to me about the way these two coaches approached you as an individual.
yeah, so the first, he had a old way of teaching. He told us what he wanted basically, and then just thought that that was it, and that's all he had to do. And that's what he did with me. That's not how I do it. You have to basically, get on our level and know us personally, and try and teach us the way of football as well. And also with the playbooks, he didn't really let anyone see the playbooks, which is very weird for a coach. I know, it was very weird. You would have to beg him to let you see the playbooks. It was very weird. And as a tight end under him, I never saw the playbooks. So yes, I know it's a weird way of doing it, and yeah, because he thought that everyone knew it, and he didn't have to do anything about that. So it was very hard, and I think that's probably why I stuck to defense, because you don't really have to do too much playbook. It's more, you know, recognizing the ball and recognizing their formations, and that's easier for me to know the formations of the offense and what I'm going up against versus the whole playbook that I don't even get to see. So
That's crazy. So, how did your
yeah.
second coach then approach you in a different manner? Was he more personable, like you said, more on your level?
Oh yeah, he let me see the playbook. Uh, yeah, he's an amazing coach, and I wish him the best for everyone going up and seeing what he can bring to the table. He was a college coach. I don't remember what college. I do apologize for that, but he brought some plays over and then some new plays. So it's like a mix of a couple versus the other coaches that was before him. He brought some people that knew the game of football, and my defensive coach he brought back, and a couple others brought back as well. And
Gotcha.
he got on our level. He taught us football, and he taught us how to lift, and he taught us everything that we were missing in that category. So it was a lot better, and the chemistry with us is a lot better with him under on the wheel. So
Gotcha. What was his name?
Paul Russick.
Paul Russick. Man, that name sounds really familiar. I feel like I should know what school
Yeah.
he's a part of. But yeah, moving on. I'll try and see if I can find that as we're going here. Is there any advice you have for coaches that are trying to teach students or athletes that might have the requisite athletic ability but need a little bit of specialized coaching to pick up the playbooks? Is it simply patience, or is there more to it?
There is more to it, and also you need patience with it as well, because you could get kids like me that need a little more time and a little more learning, because I'm a hands-on learner versus a virtual learner. You have to show me, and and let me go through the reps and tell me what I did wrong or what I did correct, and then that'll stick with me, and I'll just do it on my own. And some kids that I played with even had the same issue of they need to learn with knowing and with showing how to do it, and then they can replicate it, and do it on their own as well. So
Yeah, that
I
makes
believe that the coaches need to, well, if there is any coaches that have that problem, they need to be a lot more patient with their players, because you could have a star in there that just needs a little more time to learn everything. So, got to give everyone a chance.
absolutely. I mean, I don't think you're asking for anything that any other player is not. I mean, honestly,
Exactly.
I think every player that's out there needs a little bit of individualized training to get to their peak potential. And in fact, I would say that every player learns everything better when they're able to enact it and then reenact it and then find out what they did wrong from a snap to snap basis. That's just
Yeah.
how you improve as a player. So I don't think you're asking for anything that's out of the norm by any stretch. And I think more coaches are honestly starting to get to that point. So I think the modern coaching game is definitely getting a lot better.
Yeah.
Not more of that old school mentality where they're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you figure it out," you don't.
Yeah, I never liked that old mentality with that, because it never won games, and it never will in this age of football, because the game of football is growing, and they need to grow with it too, or retire as a coach at that point. Like,
I agree. I agree. I love the way you said that because like you said, the game of football is growing. We see people and players across the game, no matter what league, accepted in different positions that normally would have never been a thought process
oh yeah,
in old school football because of, modern coaches are more willing to actually look at these things.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Because um, what was it? Because I believe J.J. Watt won a couple passes in the NFL and a couple games, end zone games. I mean, a goal line game, I believe. Uh,
Absolutely.
Back then, I don't believe a coach would ever do that. So it's nice to see coaches, you know, recognize what talent they have on the team, and do trick plays, do different plays, not just throw it and hope they catch it,
Yeah.
or
Agree.
run it down their throat. You gotta be strategic with your plays, because you know it's not all just run, 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 run. You have a quarterback, so
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. And it's fun to watch for sure from a fan's perspective.
yeah.
During high school, you found enough success that you were named to the Big 33, which has been described as the Super Bowl of high school football. What did it mean to you to be the first student from your high school to compete in this game?
It was a big honor, and it was very fun to do it and to meet people that I've never met before. Uh, and hopefully, I'm not the last from the school, and I hope that I started something, and everyone wants to aspire to be better than me, or try to be, and get to that level and get to that game, because a lot of other schools have every year someone. So I wish to have the same impact and have someone go to that game every year as well, because I believe that you know because you're in a small school doesn't mean that there isn't great potential for a good player there.
Absolutely. I agree. There's a lot of great players out there on the small school level that maybe went to a lesser known high school or something like that that didn't get the chance at the Division 1 level in college that are in the USFL or they're in the XFL or they're in the CFL right now to this day.
Yeah.
At what point did you make professional football your goal? And at what point did it start becoming apparent that you had a real future in this sport?
When I was named to the Big 33 and Dream Game, multiple games they are naming me for, it kind of sparked something, and being like, maybe I have something, maybe I'm better than the average player. So being named to all these, being MVP, being player of games and whatnot, it was a very great honor, and it's awesome to see that. And it really clicked with me when I was playing in the Big 33 game, and after the fact, being, I think it was like 24-0 at the final game, and just looking out into the field, being like, I could do this for like ever.
That's awesome.
I could, keep doing it. This doesn't have to be my last game. So, I kind of took took a couple weeks to like think about that and think it over and be like, maybe this is, time to, actually do this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of our fans, Brian, a buddy of mine, wanted to say, "What's up? How's it going, Brian?
What's
Thanks
up?
for tuning in, man." If you haven't heard about Sam, you should definitely check out his story. If you missed the beginning of this, go back and rewatch it because he's definitely got some interesting experience that he can lend to the rest of us. Um, Following a successful high school career, you determined school was kind of not in the cards to continue your career. You were able to find an opportunity with the CJFL's, hopefully I don't say this name incorrectly, Quint Skyhawks?
Quinny.
Quinny, okay. Talk to me about how you found this opportunity and what ended up coming about.
Um, it was, I asked my father if he could, try and find something that, that is more what I was asking for, football, but no school. So that's basically what they do is for people out of high school or a couple years out of high school can still play football and they don't have to go to school. They can work. So like, they can have a job and also play football as well. Or they can do college football. College and then do football because some teams up in Canada don't have football. So this is kind of like, college football, but there's no college.
Interesting. So I've actually covered the CFL and I haven't really looked into the CJFL as much as I probably should because, like I said, there's players every year from the CJFL making the jump to the CFL,
Yep.
and you could definitely be the next. I mean, you're very young, and I think getting this level of coaching for you is going to be huge, especially moving on down the line with your career. As far as like your teammates and stuff, are you one of the younger guys in the league?
Uh, so what it goes to is 17 or 18, I believe, to 23 you can be on the team. So I am on the younger side because there are 20, 21, 22 people I'm playing with. So it's it'll be weird, but it's starting basically like a freshman and then going up to sophomore, junior, and senior. So
Absolutely. It's not too much different than had you been playing at the college level if you really think about it. There's guys
yeah.
there that are redshirt seniors that are 21, 22 years old. So one of our fans also has a question. Did you ever attend the playoffs when you were in high school? That was something I didn't touch on.
No.
Uh,
Yeah, it was we were a small school, and we just we never really got there because there were so many other schools that were bigger and out scouted us, like outsourced their players, saying, "Hey, come here for football and be in high school." So it was very unfair. I believe my school actually went down a division, which they should. So now they're going to be playing teams that are more on their level versus big prep schools that they should never go up against. So I believe this year they could potentially go for it. But when I was playing, it was just a different. I don't know what they were thinking about putting us against prep schools with 50, 60 rosters and multiple like people on JV. It's just it was just crazy because our JV team was almost our varsity team. So
wow, that's crazy.
it was just setting us up for failure going up against teams that have both of those rosters. So
I could definitely see that. I mean, that's one of the big things in high school and college football that is kind of hard to follow sometimes is the different divisions, how
yeah.
different schools recruit and stuff like that. So that's a definite deciding factor for sure. Do you have any advice for young players trying to market themselves? I mean, for a high school player, like I touched on before, your information seems to be readily available, which is not even close to the norm. How did you approach the marketing aspect of this? And was it literally, like you said earlier, was it just all fans doing it for you, or was it something where you started consolidating it later down the line?
Yeah, it was just it started with me posting my highlights to Huddle, and I think YouTube as well. And then my father, kind of, tweeted some stuff out and, posted about me a couple times. And then it just took off from there. People writing stuff about me, people putting me in the paper. It was just, it skyrocketed from there. So now it's just fans. It's just people that, want to know about me, and people that, are very curious about what I have. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. So earlier in this interview, you touched on the fact that you were around a lot of Giants players. How
yes.
did that come about, and how closely around are we talking here?
Like going to their house for a Super Bowl party.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Scott Davis is a ex Giants player. And we hung out with him a lot with football games, and I believe we went to a Super Bowl for when the Giants were going to their last Super Bowl appearance. I believe so. It was fun. It was cool, and I have a lot of memories about about the downstairs. Just uh, what was it? It was a full like theater. So
That's awesome.
it was just cool, and yeah, I've met uh Mangold, which was a center for the Jets as well.
Nick
Um
Mangold.
yep, they went to our football stuff, like they helped out with our football programs. So it was very cool to see players that played the game and also meet with them as well. And my father had friends with that.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Good way to get your name out there when it comes to being a player.
Yeah.
Hobnob with NFL players. Um, you're listed as a defensive lineman slash tight end. You mentioned you didn't really get a whole lot of opportunity to play that at the high school level. If your coach came to you week one of the CJFL and says, "Hey, man, I need you to play some tight end," how comfortable do you feel doing that?
I feel comfortable because I believe that he just meeting with him and just talking for a couple of minutes, and it feels like the same thing that I had with Russick. He'll teach me the plays, and even if it's like someone gets hurt in a game and they don't have any tight ends left, if he comes to me saying that this, and if he tells me the plays before I go in, that's fine with me as well. And I'll do it to my best ability. I can catch, I can be fast, and yeah, so
Definitely, definitely. It would be fun to see you out there as tight end for sure.
yeah.
So, out of curiosity, this was a question I didn't send you on the list. Where can we catch the Skyhawks games? Do you know?
Uh, they just had a deal with a local TV, so and also I believe it's going to be streamed on YouTube now.
Awesome.
Now that they are getting more advanced with their technology, so hopefully that will happen as well. Um, yeah, so hopefully it'll be on YouTube, and their past games are on YouTube for like little clips in there, but I believe that the full games now will be on YouTube, and I believe that there's some deal now that's going on, but I'll have to get back to that because it's different being in the States and then they're all the way in Canada, so it's the information is not really available to me too much.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. It can be difficult covering the Canadian game at times in the states because they don't really cover it a whole lot here, and
Yeah,
they don't promote it in Canada as much as they should. Or let me rephrase that: they don't promote the Canadian game in America as much as they should from the
yeah.
CFL itself. It needs to be promoted here more because I think there's a lot of fans out here. The Canadian game brings a whole different aspect than NFL football.
Oh yeah, bigger fields too. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, just out of curiosity, do they play 12-man football in the CJFL as well?
yes,
Okay. And is it, you said it's the bigger field, so it's the 110
Yeah,
yards and 50 or 60 yards wide, right?
yeah. It's gonna be crazy. Never played on a big field like that before, and yeah, it's basically the same as CFL rules. Is basically what we play for CJFL.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So I got another couple highlight videos. So we're going to go ahead and play this one right here. I think on this one of these plays, you get knocked down and you still somehow make a tackle. That's the one right there.
Yep.
I was so impressed by that. I was like, how did he manage that? And it seemed like that dude was trying to take out your legs like every play.
Yep. After I got several tackles and I kept pressuring the quarterback, he stopped doing that. So
Really?
yeah, because he got fed up with that, and I believe the quarterback even yelled at him a couple times. So it was fun to, it was funny to see that someone failed to take down me, and he's got to learn how to do that better.
No doubt. Is that something that you faced a lot? Kids trying to take out your ankles because you were just so much bigger?
Yes. They after they realized that they couldn't stop me with getting low, then they went to even lower, which is my ankles and my legs. But I would just either jump or just walk over them. So either or. If you go for my legs, I'm gonna walk over you because at that moment, like, what are you doing?
Gotcha. Gotcha. I got one more. Oh, I guess it muted our mics. Sorry about that. You'll have to click the unmute button on your screen there.
All right.
Sorry about that commercial again. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to edit these, but this one's actually got some sound to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some people in the crowd were getting amped up. See what I mean?
Yeah, that's Coach Gillo.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he was probably the most vocal coach on my team. Oh, yep, there's defense end. Yep, and knocked the ball. Oh, that was awesome. I remember that play specifically.
That's awesome. It's always fun watching highlights with the player themselves because it's like you get to see them kind of like relive the moment almost. This is just proof right there. You're quick
Yep.
off the edge despite your size, which is amazing. I mean, like we said, you're 6'5", 295 right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And yet you can still come off the edge that quick. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I think I'm quicker now than I was. So it's gonna be
really,
fun to use that to my advantage now.
that makes sense. I mean, you said you were training with the speed. What was the
Exactly.
academy again?
Elite game speed in Scranton, and
There you go.
yeah, we focus on acceleration, speed, and power, and that's all I need when I'm playing defensive tackle or defensive end.
True. True. Makes perfect sense. And honestly, training in CJFL weight rooms and stuff like that, I think is only going to benefit you long term as well. I mean, you're very young and you're already at this size and this ability. So I mean, if anything, you're only going to continue to develop as an athlete and continue to develop your football IQ, which I think teams really need to look at. I mean, with you being so young, you have such a high ceiling going forward, going right into the minor league level. It's going to be fun to watch your career going forward.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So I'm going to leave you with one last question. What are your goals for your playing career and your life outside of football as a whole? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Wow. So I see myself going and keep playing football the whole time. I see myself going through the different levels, CFL, and then hopefully go into USFL, XFL. There's so many different, leagues that I can be a part of, and hopefully, make some NFL dream happen and get there, and
Absolutely.
hopefully retire there. But if not, then just keep playing and keep proving myself and proving others wrong. So.
Absolutely. What could you see yourself doing after your playing career? Could you see coaching in your future?
Actually, yes. Because I did coach on my off time when I was, just thinking about maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't, but I did still want to do something with football. And then I coached my freshman team for my from my high school, so that was fun and that was cool.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, and I was very vocal and I was very loud, just like Coach Kilo. And a lot of people said I just took after him, so it was very fun.
What position does he coach?
He I don't know what he coaches now, but he was a tight end coach. He was my tight end coach, and he also helped on the defensive line with one of my other coaches as well.
Gotcha. So is he a little bit of a mentor for you?
Yeah,
That's
he
awesome.
he was he was my energy that I needed. So
That's awesome. Hey man, there's a lot to be said about that. Football is an energy game. If you don't have the energy and the motor to play it, you're probably not going to be successful. And you
yeah,
definitely have an unreal motor and the energy to definitely run around some people, run through them, run over them, however you need to get to the quarterback and the ball carrier. But I'm
yep.
going to let you get to the rest of your day, man. I appreciate you coming on. Your story, in my personal opinion, should literally be a movie. I hope to watch the rest of your career and see you ascend the levels like you talked from CJFL to CFL and hopefully someday into the NFL. And then it would be fun to watch, man. You're a great player already, and like I said before, I think you have a very high ceiling ahead of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So once again, if you didn't catch it early on, if you're into gaming, Brian, if you're still watching, that's you. Um, you definitely need to go check out Blue to Green, his channel on YouTube, and you also have a podcast, correct?
Yeah. Under the Lights is a NFL podcast that me and my brother do. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, and then the predictions for this NFL draft in 4 days, I believe, will be
Hmm.
coming out either today or tomorrow. So that's gonna be cool.
Oh, really? Can you
Yep.
give us a little bit of a sneak preview to anything?
Um, Mine's very weird. My
Okay.
prediction. There's I didn't include trades. I do think that the Giants will trade out with the Saints.
Really?
Because I think that they're gonna try and get uh in front of the Panthers because they're looking for a quarterback the same as the Panthers are. They're trying to move on from other quarterbacks, so I think that they're going to be just trying to get our pick. So
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. I could see that. I could definitely
yeah,
see that. The Saints definitely need a quarterback. So they obviously moved Taysom Hill to tight end. So
yep,
they thinned out the depth chart. They went and got Andy Dalton, who is not a long term solution, nor is Jameis Winston.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I could definitely see that. That makes a lot of sense. Well, Sam, if you're interested, I'd like to have you back on the channel at some point.
absolutely.
If not to check in with your career, but you're always more than welcome to come back on, weigh in on the NFL, any other league you follow. Yeah, it would be fun to have you on. We always got
All
room
right,
for more people to come talk football. That's for sure.
thank you.
All right, have a good one, man, and I'll let you
All
get
right,
out of here
you too. Thank you.
later. All right. Once again, that was Sam Duran. Just an awesome dude to talk to. I've been kind of talking to him behind the scenes for a couple weeks. I truly, truly believe he has a bright, bright future in football. I would not be talking to him if the sole basis of his story was him making it to the CJFL, and then that was the extent of his career. I truly believe he's going to be in the CFL soon. He's going to be in the NFL someday. Really, whatever his goal is, he's going to make it because at the end of the day, he's got the requisite talent and the work ethic to make it. And that's the most important part here that I wanted everybody to take away. It's that he was faced with obstacles, and rather than choose to curl up and accept his would be fate or whatever, that he might not necessarily ever play at the professional level because he can't attend college, or that wasn't right for him, he went and found other opportunities. He found a way to succeed and find his dreams another way. And that's important because I think a lot of us learn in a similar manner to him. I know I never was great at school. um, I don't necessarily face the same obstacles he had, but I was never the type of guy who learned from a book. I was always the one who needed to see it in front of myself, see it done, and repeat that process myself, which is why I found myself as a mechanic. It's one of those things that you can take apart, put back together, take it back apart, put it back together, and you see how it works. It's the same thing on a football field, just in a different manner. You literally dissect a play, you see what you did right, what you did wrong, and that's how you look to improve. And that's all that Sam's asking for, is an opportunity with the right coaching staff that can give him the chance to learn on the field like it should be in the first place. Players should be learning the game on the field. You can only do so much film study. You can only do so much classroom work for a sport where you play on the field for 60 minutes that lasts about 3 hours. I mean, you have to have stamina. You have to have all these things that you don't build up in a classroom. With all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope you check out Sam on his channel, his podcast. Once again, he has a crowdfunding account on Make a Champ. That's to help with all the costs of chasing his professional football dreams. And for those of you that don't know, a lot of times these guys that are playing in these minor football leagues and stuff, they foot a lot of the costs to go travel to these other, in this case, countries, to put themselves in housing, to feed themselves, to do all these things that you might otherwise think is provided from the team. It's not always. So this is one of those situations where we are truly supporting him chasing his dream. So once again, that's Sam Deron, Deron, on Make a Champ, all one word. You can find it on Google. I found it during my research. It's not hard to find, especially if you're searching Make a Champ. So go ahead. If you got a couple bucks, go support him. Let's help him achieve his dreams, because I think his story is freaking awesome. And hopefully one day we do see a movie about Sam Duran and about how he made it to the NFL and overcame all the odds that he was faced with, because I truly believe he's an inspiration. And this is going to be another one of those stories that I show my kids someday, to show them that they need to understand that in life, it's not always easy. Sometimes you got to work hard for what you want. You got to work hard for what you want to achieve in life. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this one. Sam, if you're listening, best of luck in your future, man. I can't wait to catch up with you later on. Looking forward to everything you do in your career.